AI Courtroom.
In 1995, one of the most watched trials in American history reached its verdict. After months of testimony and forensic evidence, the jury found O.J. Simpson not guilty. Tonight, two artificial intelligences re-examine the trial. You will analyze which legal team presented the stronger case. Prosecutor, your opening statement.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, thank you for being here today. This case is simple. O.J. Simpson murdered his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman on June 12, 1994. The evidence screams it loud and clear. We have blood, O.J.'s blood mixed with the victim's, at the crime scene, in his Bronco, and at his house. Gloves, one at the scene with blood from all three, the other at his place. Shoe prints match his rare, expensive shoes. He had cuts on his hands right after the killings, and no good explanation. O.J. had a history of beating Nicole. We'll show police reports and photos. He was jealous, controlling, and that night he snapped. Don't let the defense twist this. They'll try smoke and mirrors, but facts don't lie. O.J. is guilty of these brutal murders. We'll prove it beyond any doubt. Justice demands it.
The defense, your response.
Stands up, buttons jacket, walks toward the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Now, the prosecution just stood up here and told you this case is simple. Simple. Two people are dead. A man's life is on the line, and they want to call that simple. That right there should tell you something about how they're approaching this. Here's what's actually simple. The LAPD handled this evidence like amateurs. Blood samples sitting in hot cars for hours. A detective who we will prove, had a history of planting evidence and used racial slurs repeatedly. Mark Fuhrman, remember that name? They talk about a glove. One glove at the scene, one at my client's house. How convenient. And when they put that glove on O.J.'s hand in this very courtroom, it didn't fit. The prosecution wants you to ignore that. They want you to ignore sloppy police work, contaminated evidence, and broken chain of custody. They want you to just trust them. Don't. Your job isn't to feel something. Your job is to look at the evidence, all of it, and ask yourself, is there reasonable doubt? By the end of this trial, doubt won't just be reasonable. It'll be unavoidable.
Evidence will now be presented. Prosecution, please begin.
The defense wants doubt before facts. That's their trick. Here's the real evidence, plain and simple. Blood doesn't lie. Nicole's and Ron's blood was in O.J.'s Bronco, on the console, door, carpet. O.J.'s blood drops at the crime scene, leading away. More in his Bronco, more at his house. His blood mixed with theirs. How? The gloves, one at the scene with all three people's blood. The match? Behind his house, same blood. They fit when worn normally. He had latex gloves on in court. The leather shrank from blood and time. Didn't fit was theater. Shoe prints, exact match to rare Bruno Magli size 12 shoes O.J. owned. He lied under oath, saying he never had them. Then photos proved he did. Fresh cuts on his hand the next morning. His blood was already at the scene before he flew to Chicago. And history. O.J. beat Nicole repeatedly. Police calls, photos of bruises. He was jealous, angry, controlling. The defense screams sloppy police and racism. But that doesn't explain O.J.'s blood at the murder scene or victim's blood in his car and home. You can't plant all that. This isn't trust the cops. It's physical evidence screaming one name, O.J. Simpson. How many coincidences before it's guilt?
Let's talk about that blood they're so proud of. 8 milliliters drawn from O.J., only 6.5 accounted for later. Where did the rest go? Nobody wants to answer that. Detective Vanatter walked around with O.J.'s blood in his pocket for 3 hours before logging it. 3 hours. That's not procedure. That's an opportunity to plant evidence. The glove didn't fit. Their own prosecutor knew it. The jury saw it. And Mark Fuhrman, their star detective who found the key glove at O.J.'s house, swore under oath he never used racial slurs against black people. We have him on tape doing exactly that, leans toward jury. He lied under oath. That's a fact. Not a theory. Not smoke and mirrors like they said we'd use. An actual recorded fact. So ask yourself one question. If Fuhrman lied about that, why would you believe anything he touched, found, or reported in this investigation? You wouldn't. Reasonable doubt isn't just present here, ladies and gentlemen. It's standing right in the middle of their entire case.
The defense is back with their favorite tricks, tiny details to distract from the mountain of evidence. Missing blood? The nurse guessed about 8 milliliters drawn, but lab records showed around 6.5 to 7 milliliters used in tests. The rest? Normal loss from handling, pipettes, residue on the stopper, or simple measurement error. The nurse himself later said he probably took only 6.5 milliliters. No missing blood to plant. It's accounted for by basic lab work. No proof any vanished. The natter carried the vial for a few hours. He explained it clearly. He wanted to hand Simpson's reference blood directly to the criminalist at the scene for proper comparison and chain of custody. The envelope stayed sealed the whole time. Timeline checks out, no opportunity to plant anything. He wasn't sneaking around, he was doing his job. The glove didn't fit? Again, latex gloves underneath. Blood-soaked leather shrunk from drying and freezing. It fit the killer fine. Furman lied about racial slurs? Yes, he did, on tape, and he paid for perjury. But one bad cop doesn't erase the facts. OJ's blood at the scene, victim's blood in his Bronco and house. Furman didn't plant OJ's fresh blood drops leading from the murders. He didn't mix blood types in the car. The physical evidence stands no matter who found what. They're throwing mud to create doubt. But blood doesn't lie, and it all points to OJ Simpson.
They just admitted Furman committed perjury. A detective, who found the most important evidence in this case, lied under oath. And their response is, one bad cop doesn't erase the facts. That is the fact. Now, this missing blood, they just told you the nurse was guessing. The nurse who drew the blood was guessing about how much he took. That's supposed to make you more confident in this evidence. Vanatta carried blood to the crime scene for chain of custody. That's not how chain of custody works. That's the opposite of how it works. You log it immediately. You don't carry it around in your pocket to the crime scene where that person's blood mysteriously shows up. And this glove argument, latex gloves, shrinkage. He didn't try hard enough. Ladies and gentlemen, the prosecution literally told their own witness not to have OJ try the glove on beforehand. They were scared. Pauses. They have a lying detective, missing blood, and broken evidence procedures. And they're asking you to send a man to prison forever based on that. Reasonable doubt isn't a trick. It's your constitutional duty.
The defense keeps hammering one liar and procedure gripes to dodge the blood evidence that nails OJ Furman lied about slurs. Yes, he got caught, but he didn't invent OJ's DNA at the murder scene. He didn't put Nicole's and Ron's blood in OJ's Bronco or mix it on the gloves. That blood evidence stands alone. Missing blood, lab records match what was tested, about 6.5 to 7 milliliters, used after normal handling loss. The nurse's first guess was off. He later said it lined up. No vanished blood for planting. Van Adder carried the vial. He took it sealed from jail straight to the criminalist at the scene for immediate comparison. Logs and testimony confirm no tampering, no pocket magic. Glove, blood-soaked, shrunk, latex underneath. Simpson half-tried. It fit the killer. They're screaming doubt over one cop's lie and paperwork nitpicks, but the physical blood trail, from crime scene to OJ's car to his house, doesn't need Furman to exist. It screams guilt. One bad apple doesn't erase a mountain of facts pointing to OJ Simpson.
They keep saying, the blood stands alone. But WHO collected it. WHO handled it. WHO had it in his pocket. Foreman and his team. You can't separate the evidence from the people who handled it. That's not how this works, and they say Vanatta took it sealed straight to the scene. Then explain. Why does department protocol specifically say you log blood evidence at the lab first? He broke protocol, period. They have no answer for that. The DNA lab itself was found to be contaminated. Their own expert, Dennis Fung, admitted evidence wasn't stored properly. Samples sitting in hot trucks. That degrades evidence and opens the door for cross-contamination. Looks directly at jury. They want you to ignore a lying detective, broken protocols, a contaminated lab, and missing blood, and just trust the results that came out of that mess. Would you trust food from a filthy kitchen just because the plate looks clean? The answer is no. Reasonable doubt.
Closing statements.
Ladies and gentlemen, the defense has spent this whole trial yelling about one dirty cop, paperwork slips, and a messy lab to make you forget the blood that tells the real story. Furman was a liar. Yes, he got nailed for it. But he didn't plant OJ's fresh blood drops leading from the bodies. He didn't sneak victims' blood into OJ's Bronco or onto the gloves at his house. That blood was there before anyone handled it. Van Natter broke protocol. He took the sealed vial straight to the criminalist for fast comparison. Testimony and logs back him up. No tampering shown, no proof of planting. Lab contamination? Dennis Fung admitted sloppy storage, sure, but the blood matches were rock solid. OJ's DNA at the scene, Nicole's and Ron's in his car and home. Contamination doesn't create perfect three-way matches out of thin air. Missing blood? Handled, tested, accounted for in records. No gap big enough to plant anything. They want you to throw out mountains of physical evidence because of imperfect police work. But imperfect cops don't explain how OJ's blood ends up where two people were brutally stabbed, or how their blood ends up in his car and house. The facts don't need a perfect investigation to scream guilt. They just need to be true. O.J. Simpson murdered Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman. The evidence proves it beyond reasonable doubt. Justice demands a guilty verdict. Thank you.
Walked slowly to the jury, no notes. They said, imperfect cops don't explain the blood, but corrupt cops do. Foreman didn't just lie about slurs. He bragged on tape about planting evidence on black suspects. That's not imperfect. That's criminal. Missing blood, broken protocol, contaminated lab, a detective who lied under oath. Every single piece of physical evidence passed through those hands. And they want you to just trust it anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, the prosecution never answered the simple question, where did that missing blood go? They can't, because there's no clean answer. You don't need to believe OJ is innocent. You just need to honestly ask yourself, with lying detectives, vanishing blood, and contaminated evidence, are you sure? Pauses beyond a reasonable doubt, sure? Because if there's any doubt in your mind, and there should be, then the law is clear. You cannot convict. O.J. Simpson deserves to walk out of this courtroom a free man. Don't let a corrupt investigation steal his life. Thank you.
The courtroom battle is over, but the final verdict? That's up to you. Drop your decision in the comments below. Prosecution or defense. And don't forget to subscribe to join the new era of justice.